Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of the front diff install on the 2020 BMW M50i. So, previous video, we got the whole part out, and there's really nothing much on this online. So, oh gosh, it was a job, man. I'm telling you, I hope it goes together easier than it did coming out. That's for sure. So, got the part sitting right there. Let's crack it open, see what it's all about. Let's go. All right, I went and changed pants, of course, put my little mechanic pants back on. So, diff is in here. I just picked these up from BMW. Here's the part number. See if you guys can see it right there. It is 832224097110. $165 for 2 quarts of this. This is the most expensive fluid I've ever bought in my life. So, I know there's more expensive ones out there. I've never bought one of these ones. Liquid gold. All right, let's crack this box open. I was scared about that. I'll show you. Got the old diff right here. Let's cut this plastic off of here. In a big old bag. Hey, it looks good. It better for $2,300. Oh. All right. So guys, I was petrified that it wasn't going to come with this flange. I don't know. Too much reading on the internet. So the old one has this flange right here. However, to get this nut out, it is a very thin walled, I don't know, like a 30 millimeter, 32 millimeter, whatever it is, but it's extra skinny, and I don't have one. And I was like, dude, I don't even know if I can get one. I was about to have to take it to BMW to see if they could get this flange off, but it came with a new one. And I'm sitting here looking at the part. 83, this one's a little unlegible on that number. 8638080. I'm pretty sure that's what it says right there. Looks to be, so that's not the part number itself to the actual thing. I will leave the actual part number in the description because when you look online, there's a couple different part numbers, but I got the one that fits it. Got it from BMW themselves, so I'll leave that down in the comments down there in the description. So here we go. Let's see here. Boom. Covers. Yeah. Comes with everything I need. So guys, the only thing that we need to keep off this old diff is going to be this the hose up here, you know, and it's actually capped. I was afraid it was going to go on throughout the car, but it's just sealed right here. So for your little vent tube here, right here, let's see, pop, that just fits over it, I guess. No, through it, and yeah, that was broken anyway, barely. It'll work, but let's swap that over first. And you can see the rubber seal is still on the old one. Boom, brand new. The only other thing I had to get was one of these new covers. Goes basically right here over the axle. It's on the one on this side because I broke it into a million pieces. You can see it right there, but it'll cover right here on this part of the axle. So I did have to buy that. I got that for $30 on eBay actually. Yeah, fits everything. Here's your little C-clip that retains the axle, which goes in right here. Let me grab this. I'll show you guys where. This is why this axle is so hard to get out. You can see it right there in that groove. See it? It just goes around. It's open right there. Just puts enough pressure on there where that sucker ain't coming out. Not without some good force coming straight out. Time to go under. Yeah. I'll leave the cover on there for right now. It goes this way. Oh boy. Okay guys, so here's the top bolt of the diff right over here. And this is the other top one. So it hits right here on the AC compressor. So I do have it loose, just barely loose. So it's gonna be really tight to get that bolt. It's almost gonna have to shove it in there. It's gonna be pretty difficult. But I've also got to hold the steering out of the way at the same time that I put this up here. So here's a good look. So your 4 bolts are 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we go. Okay, got the diff in. All the bolts are snug. This one right here was awful. Definitely a 2-person job for the way I have got it going on here. So it was still hitting the ear of the AC compressor. So I had to pry with a pry bar up in here and pry the AC over just a bit while holding the diff. And I had someone just push on the bolt itself for it to go just over this little ear here and fall into place. And then I was able to, it felt like I was going to strip it out, but I was just like, well, I just got to get it started. And it went in just fine. It wasn't stripping out, but it's right there on the edge of the threads. And the threads are pretty thick, so I doubt it will strip, especially if you go nice and easy. And then I just turned it over until I could feel it click and I could spin it by hand. So diff installed. Honestly, way easier than taking it out. Hopefully the rest of this project goes the same way. Cross your fingers, cross your fingers. All right, so next, and definitely not least or last, we gotta go ahead and tighten up the AC right here. Boom. There's 1, 2, 3. I know it's so hard to see, guys. There's 4 bolts that hold it up. So guys, that is next on the list. Make sure you tighten back up the AC compressor or your belt's going flying off and you're stranded on the side of the road. Yep. And you probably won't have an AC after that. All right, let's seat this axle. There it goes. Seated. That's amazing, Ava. Hang on, I want her to go. That's actually really cool. Especially that, you know, if you recognize them, you're like, oh, that's
What was it? RWB guy.
yeah. There, people be like, what? How do you know that? How do you know that? Meanwhile, in the shop in here, I'm starting drywall by myself. Let's go. Jankety countertops, but I got water. That's awesome. I'm out here on the porch, still waiting on some car parts for Tara's car, but got all the windows clean. Those window sills were disgusting. And boom, taped up one. They're going black. And I'm gonna paint all this white over here. Got rid of the old school shutters. Not a fan. Yeah, looks fantastic. But still waiting on parts for that guy. Got on Amazon and got this to suck up this and put it in the differential. This might make things easier. Yeah. Hey, no. Get out of here. All right, so I got the drive shaft not torqued down, but I got them all the bolts in the drive shaft. And next will be the engine mount here. And then after the engine mount, I'm gonna go ahead and put on the engine stuff. I'm getting it, guys, slowly but surely. Keep having to give it a little love tap. Let's check the other side. Okay. It's finally getting into place. A bunch of tweaking on back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And boom. That's what's up. Biggest part I've had, when you tap it from the front, this little ear. Oh man, I know you guys can't see it. Man. Anyways, it's got to be on the back side. Then the nut comes through. This the bolt right here. So this bolt is to that little ear that sticks down. It attaches up here to the frame and then drops down. It's thin. Man, hopefully you guys can't see that. Maybe if I can zoom in. Right there. So that little ear would flip over to the front side. And I'm like, man, I feel like I'm jacking up the whole car. I was very easy with it though. Back it off, and then I kept figuring out like, oh. So you'd lift the passenger side, and it would end up dropping this side down a little bit, which in turn would make that little ear flip out. So eventually I had to get both of the back bolts in and just go from there. And I've only got 3 bolts in so far. So I'll work on the rest and get this subframe seated, please. And guys, not that it's that heavy, it's just awkward. And then again, laying on my back. If you were in a shop, you could have 2 guys real quick, boom, hold it in place. Zzz, zzz, zzz. Down here, I'm like, it's just not fun on your back, but doable. It's just not fun at all. Okay, I got the subframe installed all the way. It's tight. I haven't torqued it yet. Yeah, you just got to play with it both sides because it's got to kind of stay even. It took a couple hours just on my back and then side to side. Luckily, most of the bolts you can get to on the sides of the car, so it's not terrible. That will by yourself, like I've been doing for the past while now, it's tricky, but it's doable. It kind of just frustrates you because you get one side kind of up and the other side's dropping. You're like, and you got to keep, I jack this side, jack this side, jack this side, stabilize it. Use the jack stands, kind of jacked it up, put a jack stand right there. Then go to the other side, jack it up, so make it come up level. It works. It's doable, guys. It is, but it's in there. I'm stopping for the night. I will catch you guys tomorrow. All 8 bolts are back in their home. And right here, let's see if you can see. These 2 front ones, these are kind of, they're important. And this is the only reason you got to take off all of this stuff over here. This whole wheel well, all this junk for these 2 bolts. They do go on the side. I meant to mention that before. So I guess there's 8 major bolts on the bottom and there's 2 bolts on each side of that. So I guess 8, 9, 10, there's 12 total, including those 2 small ones. I don't even know what that, 11 millimeter. A lot of this stuff on this car is an 11 millimeter, 6 point for future reference if you're getting tools. 11mm 6-point. Yeah, catch you guys tomorrow. Okay guys, engine cherry picker out. I went ahead and tore it down everything from the subframe, but I only did it to 98 pounds because you don't torque it down all the way until the weight is on the vehicle and the vehicle's on the ground. That's what BMW says. So I'm gonna do that and then torque it down to 106 foot-pounds. So they're at 98 right now, and then I'll wait until then. It's gonna be kind of a pain. I mean, I guess I can squeeze in there. So there we go. Got these two little bolts right there for that line to tie down to. Same thing over here. Got those two. Hard to see. They're right there, right there. Got those on. I got these all bolts in on both sides. So guys, I'm just waiting on the axles to get seated on both sides here. I thought I seated the other one. I didn't. I just got under there and was messing around with that suspension and it's loose. So I'm gonna have to, you need some of this. I don't know how much muscle I got left, boys. All right, so here we go. Seat them both and then we can start working on the suspension. But wait, gotta get the motor mounts in. That's why when I'm dropping the motor down, I need to go up there and, you know, I probably should have left that on there, but it's so much easier on there without that. So let's see where it lined up. We'll see. Just as I suspected, I gotta get in there and I gotta get the cherry picker back on here. The engine's gotta go over like, I mean, not even 1/8 of an inch, maybe a 1/16 of an inch for the bolts to line up completely. So I gotta put it back on. It's gotta go like diagonally this way. So it almost needs to go just a tiny, I mean, it's ever so slightly. They're almost lined up. Got the engine seated. Took some finagling. Best way to do it though, loosen the motor mounts and then you can adjust them from there instead of trying to move the engine around. That was dumb, but loosen the engine mounts, very easy. Okay, so I ended up having to take the axle out because I needed to seat this right here. This is the passenger side, the long one. So reseated this section right here, wiped everything off. I'm gonna reinsert that. And then hopefully, yeah, we can put this side of the suspension together. So guys, real quick on seating the axle, it needs a little love tap to get back in there, but that C-clip, rotate it to where the opening is at 12 o'clock. I put a little axle grease on there and I gave it, collapsed it all the way down and just gave it one little boom and it went right in. Took a minute, you just gotta make sure nice and level. It goes in. All right, time to put the steering back on. I got the bolts all started. Let's run them in there, I'll torque them down. And then we got this little clip. The wiring harness goes boom, 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 2, 3, and then this hose. Stick it in. It was in the bottom, all the way down. Boom. Any day flick. Guys, I haven't put some of the plastics up yet. I just need to get the tires on so I can go ahead and get some weight on the vehicle. I'll probably go test drive it, but I want to get it to set down. That way I can torque down the subframe to its proper specs. And then jack it back up, take the tires back off, put all the plastics on. I want to make sure everything drives fine. So we're right there. Going on the road test. Everything sounds perfect. Don't worry guys, I did tighten up the axle nuts. Show me how it drives, Ava. Noah. Come here. Another successful project finished. Glad I could help her out. And this. Look how dirty. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap for today's video. That was a big project, but it is doable and saved a whole bunch of money doing it. Saved about $4,000 more or less doing the project yourself. And it wasn't too bad to replace the diff. It was, if you had a lift, it'd be so much easier. Some parts were rough, but it's doable. I hope this helps somebody out that's got an X5 M50i. And again, it's a 2020. So it should be the same from 2019 to 2023, 24. So I hope this video helps somebody out. And I promise, guys, I will get back on the Humvee. I promise. I have a ton of stuff in my life going on, including trying to finish this house. So it's draining me dry, money-wise. So maybe YouTube, I can make some money on YouTube. Probably not. I don't make much, like very little. So until next time, take it easy. I'll see you on the Humvee next.